Testing 1 2 1 2. Peace, peace, peace. I hope my audio's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and let it rip because I have a lot to cover. Uh, as I was getting this story together, I came across some interesting things. Of course, y'all know this. It is me, unapologetically QI, entering the think tank, entering the building. All right. Well, Sean P. Diddy Combs, his trial starts. Well, actually, jury selection starts Monday. That's May the 5th. And, although we're approaching the date of the case, there are things that are just unfolding, including, like a lot of the moves that Sean P. Diddy is making. Like, for instance, he's trying to get evidence thrown out of court. Like, he's trying to get, at first, it was the video, but it's admissible. The CNN video of Cassie, and I guess it was an iPhone video as well. Well, it's admissible. They're going to use that as well. Now they're trying to get uh, some of the evidence that was confiscated from one of Diddy's homes removed, stating that it was unconstitutional and unlawful. Now, in terms of the attorneys, they gave a list of the attorneys. Like, Diddy was looking for, like, I guess, a representative from every gender and race. And we all know that I thought that Mark Garagos was going to be on the case. He's not, but his daughter Teeny is. So Teeny Garagos is on the case. And then Mark, I can never say his name right, Agnafino, is the leading attorney. And yeah, like, bear with me if I didn't pronounce that right, because I'm doing this off the dome. So he's the lead attorney. And there are two other ones. There's another lady, another white lady, and another white man. So I guess he didn't get the black or so-called African American attorney that he was in search of. He wanted a female black African American or black American attorney. So I guess he didn't get that. Now let's talk about these attorneys for a minute. There were like two firms that was representing Sean P. Diddy Combs. And the first firm he had been using for over 20 years. This is the same firm that a lot of celebrities use, including Usher. Well, basically, they told the courts and told Diddy that it was a conflict of interest, pretty much. All right. Now, the second attorney, I believe his first name was Rico. I can't remember the last name. And I don't really want to get too deep into names because, like, I'd rather go with the legal documentation of things. So I'm just going to go on with the, basically what I've heard. But the second attorney, he basically stated that, like he just said he couldn't do it. And, because of a client privilege, he couldn't go into too many details. But he just stated that he could not take on Diddy's case. So Diddy had a hard time, putting together the legal team that he has now. which is 4 people. And I heard that Brian Steele is co-counsel. However, like the last that I heard, they didn't name him, and I guess maybe that's because he's co-counsel because he doesn't have, he's not a part of the bar in New York. Now, let me just tell you, May 5th and going forward, I think that New York is going to be bustling with a lot of high-profile celebrities. If I lived in New York, I would probably like stake out across from the courthouse to get pictures because you can't have cameras inside of the court. And I think you're probably going to have a press pass. It's going to be a, like a serious situation. But like I would probably stand outside of the court so that I can see who goes inside of the courts because I am almost for certain that there's going to be a lot of high profile um, celebrities that are going to appear at this case. Now, one thing, if y'all could bear with me a moment. My bad. I had to go check on something real quick. It's always something, right? And I even got my dog all alarm for no reason. But back to what I was saying. Thank y'all for bearing with me for a moment. Um, there's going to be a lot of high profile celebrities. Okay, as well, there's an attorney. And, if y'all think about the movie Scandal and Olivia Pope, right? Well, there are attorneys that do that. Uh, um, they'll try to clean up things for celebrities before they go into court. They make money like that as well. Well, there's one particular female attorney that does that. And she has been stating that, like someone brought a tape to her, one of Diddy's tapes, and it was someone on that tape that was more high profile than Diddy. And everybody's been trying to figure it out. A lot of people have been speculating Jay-Z. However, Jay-Z for that. However, like in most of the cases, Jay-Z, he's pleading innocent, right? So we don't know. But everybody's been speculating. And she stated that whoever this high profile person was, she contacted them. They contacted her back, and they offered to buy the tape, and she denied. Like she didn't sell it. And so I thought to myself, like we're looking at who could possibly be witnesses in this case, right? And I thought to myself, we're not thinking about people like her. Like whatever tape that was, and the mere fact that she came on line, on air, did interviews, news interviews about having this tape, which is considered evidence, she herself could be subpoenaed to court. Um, there are like 2 witnesses, I think, out of 40, but there's only 2 whose names, who are willing to, use their names and they not going under Jane Doe or so on, right? But I'm almost for certain that anybody who whose name has come up in these freak offs, whose pictures have came up in these freak offs and different things have been subpoenaed in this case. Now you have to look at something. Now they're not going to overwhelm you with witnesses. They're pretty much going to try to get because this trial can last forever. So they're pretty much going to try to, first of all, get a deal, a plea deal. They've already, gave offered a plea deal of 25 years. P. Diddy turned that down, right? So I'm pretty sure, or I speculate, or in my opinion, that he'll probably end up trying to go for a deal before this trial is over. In my opinion, I think it would be in his best interest. However, just based on what I've been seeing, like Diddy thinks that he can win it. Diddy's attitude, he's very egotistical and, like he thinks he's going to win this. But based on everything I've seen from like two law firms stepping down to like the mound of evidence they have to, we know that Cassie is, alleged to be one of the witnesses. I think the producer is alleged to be a witness. I don't know if y'all remember the guy who came out with the book from his first wife. I think that he's alleged to be a witness. Along with, you got to look at Gene Deal. You got to look at the other bodyguard. I mean, there's gonna probably be a lot of witnesses there more than anything. Like, while I look at the fact that Diddy and his legal team is trying to throw out, some of the evidence, and he's trying to throw out like some of the, that he was trying to throw out the CNN footage, but it's admissible. Really, he needs to be more worried about a lot of these witnesses and these collaborating stories. Okay, so it gets more interesting than that, y'all. Jury selection, right? So they're scheduled to start jury selection on Monday. And y'all just got to think about the type of evidence, the evidence. Y'all got to think about this case. Y'all got to think about this case, right? And, what this case consists of, what he's being charged with. So jurors in this case are going to be asked questions like about their past traumas. They're going to be asked questions about their social media accounts, like what, do they watch or use, or are they a content creator? If you're listening to me right now, we would not be able to be a juror in P. Diddy's case. They're going to ask, can they tolerate watching certain graphic images and graphic things? Because there's going to be they're going to have to see a lot of very graphic things, and like with this case. So jurors are asked a lot of, non-typical questions. And just know that it's in the defense, well, really in both, but more in the defense best interest to select a unbiased peer of jurors. So hopefully, I've heard that jury selection, they're going to do one by one, because people are asking as well, are people going to feel comfortable answering questions like, they're even going to ask about drug use, because Diddy's also trying to say that he's trying to blame it on drug use, and the fact that drug use made him think unclearly, or not think logically. So they're going to even ask about, do they know, have they ever used drugs, or do they know anyone that's used drugs? Are they familiar with drugs and different things of that nature? And people are asking, are they going to feel comfortable enough? Are people going to feel comfortable enough? Like, imagine this. Like, I'm imagining that they're going to be in a room one by one, because I can't see them asking, like, like a group of people, how many of you have, like had, you know, um, traumatic experiences in life? Y'all know what type of traumatic experiences. And, you having to raise your hand and you having to say me, you know what I'm saying? And then imagine, somebody saying, have you ever used drugs? Now you're in the court. You're in the court. Like, I'm pretty sure people are not going to feel comfortable raising their hands saying, yes, me. So, like, I think they're going to bring them on one by one, especially in a group of people. But I think they're going to bring them on one by one because of the type of questions that's going to be asked to these jurors. So hopefully jury selection won't take that long, like with the YSL case. Hopefully, but they're going to have to find a special group of witnesses. And then just look at something. It's going to be hard to find somebody that doesn't, like, a group of people, a group of 12 people who don't know anything, who are going to pass all those questions, plus the mere fact that they've never heard anything about this case. So I'm sure that a lot of people are going to have knowledge of the case, but like, I guess they're going to look at how extensive your knowledge is, like whether you've been on social media, like whether you like have an agenda like me. Like, for instance, I would have an agenda because of the fact that I'm a content creator. So that's good. Jury selection is definitely going to be interesting. Now, some of the people that I heard that are going to, that is rumored, that are also going to be witnesses, and you could sort of tell, like, by, when I was researching this case and stuff like that, I listened to, a lot of other content and things like that, and some content from, like way back, because, this has been talked about for a long time. People have been coming forth and doing interviews on this a long time. So I even listened to some interviews from way back. And I could tell that, some of those people from way back who interviewed were already subpoenaed to court and were going to be alleged witnesses. But one name is ringing very highly these days. And they're even surfacing around the interviews and different things like that. But right now, I'm just going to say alleged, and then I'm just going to say it's rumored. But there's rumored that Usher is going to also, like, be a witness. Now, based on, like, if you know the story and things allegedly about Usher and Justin Bieber, then I wouldn't be surprised. Because I have to look at something. Like, a lot of times, they leverage, like, they leverage, what is it, the Alford plea or whatever, where they basically exonerate you of the things that you did to take down the big fish, just like in YSL Young Thug's case, right? They gave a lot of those people plea deals to be witnesses. So, it's going to be the same in this case. And based on a lot of the rumors and the different things that we heard about the Justin Bieber and the Usher situation, I would not be surprised if Usher was subpoenaed and if he stood, like, trial as a witness. Um, Ashton Kutcher's name has been coming up a lot. They said for years they have been looking at Ashton's connection to P. Diddy. Now, after this court case, a lot of people bailed. A lot of people ran off. A lot of people disassociated with Diddy because they didn't want to be tied up. But as I stated before, there's, like, if you were at those freak offs, if you were pictured, you were on any of those tapes, if you were there, during the time of any of those alleged crimes or charges that P. Diddy is facing, then you're subject to be subpoenaed to court. And I'm almost certain they're going to have standby witnesses, because you got to look at it. They really want a guilty plea. They just want the guilty plea, or they want the guilty plea, or through the plea deal. Because it's just like in the situation with because it costs a lot of money. This trial is going to cost a lot of money. Everybody's going to have to spend a lot of money. So basically, they're looking for that. So I mean, we may or may not get to see a lot of these high profile celebrities that we know, that has been rumored, or we've seen, pictured at these, freak offs. But this case is going to be wild. I'm going to try to stay as up to date as possible on it. You know that you can't have cameras in the courthouse. So, you're going to have to get your information secondary. And like I stated, if anybody was in New York, if you can stand outside the courthouse and take pictures, I'm pretty sure you'll see people entering. You may see a lot of high profile celebrities entering their case if they don't have it barricaded or where you can't get close. But this is going to be a wild trial. We're in for a wild ride. Now, we all heard about Russell Brand. We heard about when Diddy invited him to Vegas. The little movie that was done, it was crazy. It was like a little, like the Beaver diss tape or the diss song. Russell spoke out about it. He said that Diddy was weird. It was weird that he invited him. Nothing actually happened. And he said, Diddy sort of creeped him out, right? And, he denied, any claims. I'm not sure if it was to the freak offs altogether, because there was two parts of the freak offs. There was the good part of they called them all white parties, or they called them parties, right? But then at a certain hour, at a certain time, they turned it to the freak offs. Now, a lot of celebrities used to be there for the parties, but then there was a selective few for the freak offs. Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart. I mean, TD Jakes. The list goes on and on. Al Sharpton. Weird, huh? But wow, the list goes on and on. And so I'm just saying that this is a Diddy web, and this is like the shakedown. There are a lot of things that's going to come out in this trial. We're going to find out about a lot of things in this trial. We think that when the producer came out and he gave, and he and we read the documents on that, we thought, and we heard all those names like Prince Harry and different things. We thought that was a lot, but wait until everyone has to hit the all the witnesses. Gene Deal. Wait until all these people start coming out, because Gene Deal used to tell the stories, but he really didn't give the details of the details. He didn't give the names. As well, they said at this time that, they're not going to be in any charges in terms of Tupac's case for P. Diddy at this time. And, Keefe D right now is going through trial. And, it's been alleged through Keefe D that P. Diddy allegedly had something to do with Tupac. It's alleged that he also, or speculated through some of the LA police officers, that he also had something to do with Biggie Smalls. So, I mean, we're going to find out a lot in this situation. And I guarantee y'all that as this trial goes along, We're going to see a lot of celebrities voluntarily coming out and telling their Diddy stories. Are they going to be voluntary? You know, you had Orlando Brown. Of course, we know about Jaguar Wright. But you're going to see a lot more people. You got Cuban Gooden Jr. We're going to see a lot of people come out. Because, I mean, you got to look at it. These people have a publicist, they have public, relations. And a lot of times, you know, most of their tactics is to step in front of the story. So a lot of them are going to be coming out and trying to step in front of the story, right? So we're going to find out a lot more. And just like imagine how deep this case is already. Just imagine how much we've heard and how much, you know, we've heard about thus far. So it's just gonna be a wild. It's gonna be. This is about to be a wild time starting Monday. Jury selection and going forward with this case. And it appears that P Diddy is gonna try to come out here and fight as hard as he can. And and I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be thrown under the bus. Let's put it that way. There are even people like Russell Brand is from UK. Like he has his own situation right now going on with four alleged victims. His case, his first date in court was today. And so I'm going to try to stay updated with that one as well. We've heard about like people like Victoria Beckham. So it's just going to get more interesting and interesting. It's the Diddy Web. Wee. The celebrity shakedown. This is like the tearing down of Hollywood. And I'm sure that there may be some people that we haven't heard anything about that's going to resurface. So y'all, we're going to stay tuned. I'm going to try to keep y'all up as much as I possibly can. I'm trying to, do as much research and, stay and tapped as best as I can. Um, Monday is jury selection. Unless something really, really interesting happens with that, I probably won't cover that. Because, we already know about the questions and different things. And we went through this before with the YSL case. It's like not much to talk about generally during those jury selections. Now, when the actual trial starts, that's when, it's going to get busy. So I'm going to try to keep us up as best as possible, with as much as I can. It's going to be a little complicated. Going to have to put in a lot of work because, like I said, this case won't be televised. But y'all smash that like. And as well, I like to say, rest in heaven to Lips, a mukbanger. It's been alleged that his life was taken due to the hands of DV. Him and his partner, they both did mukbang videos together. It's been alleged his sister came out and she spoke out. And she basically, she wasn't angry at production. That was his Lips mate. She wasn't angry at production. She basically was saying that they had a toxic sort of relationship. She was basically almost saying as though Lips was a little controlling and even controlling in the family. Now she stated that, they loved each other, and everything. But, and they had been together for like 18 years. 18 long years. And she said they loved each other. And she was basically saying that, production, if he had to come back out on the streets, he probably would not want to continue on without Lips. So, I started looking to that a little bit. It was sad. It was tragic. Um, and I know there are some other people looking into that case, but I just like to, take a minute to say, rest in heaven. It's sad and tragic, and prayers and condolences, to, the family, the friends, the mukbanging community, the online community, like prayers and condolences to all of y'all. So I like to thank y'all for y'all support as usual. I really appreciate the people who are supporting me through my creative journey. If you don't mind, can y'all please smash, smash, smash that like button for me? Share, comment, as well as subscribe. And I'm gonna do a quick little roundup. But I'd like to say until next time, it is unapologetically QI exit in the building. Peace, love, food, water, clothing, shelter, and all that. And I'm out. Peace.